Okay, so my thing, as you've probably gathered by now, is that there are all these people, these professional losers on YouTube, with tons of money to put into the process and presumably functioning brains between their ears, and yet not a single one of them applies any sort of common sense approach to the challenge of mitigating the house advantage in games of chance and perhaps even beating it. Nobody does that, and you have to ask yourself after a while watching these things. And I've been doing it for a couple of years, so I'm pretty slow-witted myself. But it's only recently I finally came to the conclusion that this is how they have to behave, or they don't get their privileges. They don't get their filming permission, their video permission, whatever the hell it's called. And so they all behave like idiots. And along the way, of course, while they're losing money hand over fist, they're collecting even more money from Google. And so for them, it's the ideal business proposition. They're satisfying the casino's need for advertising, which they can't legally get in any other way. They're not allowed to be on television. They're not allowed to be on billboards. They're not allowed to be in certain places under certain circumstances. And I admit, I've lost track with exactly what the rules are in the States these days, because, now we have a Supreme Court which definitely bends over backwards for business and for the Republican Party, and doesn't have a whole lot to do with doing what's right and constitutional and all that kind of thing. None of that is any of my business, because I'm not American. I'm very fond of America and of Americans because I lived there for many years. But, I am mystified by everything, and in a way pleased that the current administration's policies have so badly hurt Las Vegas and the casinos and cut into profits and caused them some serious headaches, because, God damn it, they deserved it. They all backed the current administration, and it's a case of be careful what you wish for and all the rest. But no, all I'm saying to you people out there is look closely at these players, at these professional losers, and ask yourself, why are they doing this? Why are they throwing money away? What's in it for them? What's in it for me? Ask yourself what's in it for you. As for me, there's nothing in it for me except the satisfaction of knowing that as time goes by, a few more people will join the whatever it is, and will perhaps start asking themselves, is it a good idea to actually, put money down on any of these tables? All you have to do is look at this pile of chips up here. God knows how much is there, but it's probably in the region of 300,000. We should perhaps ask, what is it? This is Red Rock, I think. We should maybe ask them what's in a dealer's tray in the high roller room, but they probably wouldn't tell us. But I would guess somewhere between 150 and 500,000's worth of chips. And if you can't take some decent steps towards providing yourself with firepower that at least has a chance against that sort of ammunition, then, well, you've heard it all before. So I'll stop rabbiting now, and I'll see you later. All right, then. I know you're all going to be on the edge of your seats, waiting for the latest John Sirasani analysis. I don't know. I'm going to keep hammering away at these guys, not because I think that I'm better than them, but simply that I know that they could be a lot better if they just put their thinking caps on instead of doing what the casinos want them to do. And every time I look at somebody like John doing what he does, and at Bretsky and at Bluffin' Bob and at Vegas Matt and all the others, I think there's some sort of great scheme going on where the casinos are telling them all, play like prats, or you don't get to film here, or you don't, whatever. It's so odd, John, this time, against a player advantage of 8.9%, he came out alive, but he managed to reduce that to 4.6%. And, people out there who are not into numbers and don't care about numbers, well, I mean, you wouldn't be with me anyway, would you, if that were true? But, just just look at this crap. It's just so weird. And let's go down to the bottom here, the bottom of the column. And what you see is that his action this time was 235,750, so 236,000 over here and 37,000 over here. So that's 263,000 in action. And he won 10,750, which is a fraction less than he claimed. I think I'm not sure. I did take a screenshot of the big pile of chips that looked so impressive, but 25,000 were what he started with, so it's not quite as impressive as it might appear. But once again, his silly extra bets hurt him. He lost 3,500 over there. He won 14,250 on his bets if he'd only been betting the first base bets, or an original, just one bet at a time. So when he spreads out to two, okay, so he goes left and he goes into that becomes the first base bet for my purposes, and that's the one that I'm concerned with. Then when he falls back to one bet in the circle in front of him, then that's the one that matters. And here, as I say, he actually won one more silly extra bet than he lost, but because of the way that the numbers fell out, he lost 3,500 along the way. Total cost of silly extras at this point is creeping up towards 60,000 in the last 3,600 bets, 3,601 if you're counting. His average win, 2,355. His average loss, 2,070. So he did manage 114% average win value over average loss value. But because he was all over the place, haphazard as usual, random as usual, daft as usual, I mean, there's just no way of figuring out how this guy's mind works. I'm not even sure that it does, to be honest. And I feel guilty about being rude because I don't know the fella, but I do know that he has a very, very inflated sense of his own abilities, and he should do more competent, concentrated, consistent betting and less blabbing about how great he is. And, this is a guy who talks about how he has discipline and how he has this, that, and the other. And then he can say during the course of this latest video that once when he knocked his chip pile over, he knew he changed the cards for the worse. That was the sign that he was in for a tough time. If you believe that kind of crap, then, God knows what else he believes in. He apparently believes in God because he calls on him very frequently, although possibly in a manner that God, if he's up there listening, would not appreciate. But hey, whatever. It's just weird. So going back to the top, down and up, down, blah, 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 up, zzz, this was not a tough session in terms of wins and losses. He was ahead, In fact, I didn't even look down there to see. I think it was 10 bets ahead, wasn't it? Yeah, 10 bets ahead totally. So he had 10 more wins than losses, and he still managed to fuck it up. So, what can I say? Now, of course, we need to go to pattern betting. Total action here was, what did I say it was? 235,750 over here. So that's 273,000. We go up to dear old pattern betting, which may be incredibly boring, but by golly, 8.9% was what the shoes handed to us because I have to bet every damn thing that he does. I have to sit and watch and shudder when he stands on 16 when he shouldn't, and when he does daft stuff like he does from time to time. And I have to keep sort of saying to myself, it's his money, his choice, up to him. But anyway, this is what pattern betting looks like. And, nothing changes in this algorithm going from one session to the next. I don't mess around, I mean, what would be the point? It would be ridiculous. Anyway, his action was what, 270,000, something like that? Nearly 10 times. Well, certainly 8 times. 8 times pattern bettings. And so pattern betting won 3,650, which was 10.2%, and we were gifted a player advantage of 8.9% in that session. So, make of it what you will. I've got no control over how you respond to these things, of course. But anyway, that's the same flat bet situation, which was actually not red; it was friendly. But it just gets a bit confusing if this isn't red, because usually it deserves to be, right? But it was plus 8.9 this time. We made it up to, we pumped it up, or the algorithm pumped it up to 10.2%, which is not a huge difference. But when you've got things going your way, you tend not to make so much money because the bets don't get as high and the roundups don't get as high and so on, But I don't know. I'm at a loss. I really am. I just don't get it. Must be a flaw in my IQ, I guess. I must be like Piggy on Air Force One. Good God. Anyway, there you have it. That's it. I'm going now. Thanks for watching.